Hello and welcome back to the Past Horizon Show with me, Patricia Wedera. Today we take a look back to what happened in our country in 1982, the attempted coup of 1982. In 1963, Kenya gained independence from British colonial rule. Jomo Kenyatta, a prominent nationalist leader, became the country's first prime minister and later its president. The early years of Kenyatta's rule were characterized by nation building and land redistribution policies. In 1964, Kenya became a de facto one-party state under the Kenya African National Union, with Jomo Kenyatta as the party's leader. Political opposition was suppressed and Kenya's political landscape was dominated by KANU. Jomo Kenyatta ruled Kenya until his death in 1978. His leadership was marked by efforts to unite a diverse nation and establish a sense of Kenyan identity. After Kenyatta's death, his vice president Daniel Arap Moi assumed the presidency. Moi's rule was characterized by authoritarian and centralized governments. His leadership led to increasing political dissent, partly due to allegations of human rights abuses and lack of political pluralism. The political climate became increasingly tense, with more factions within KANU pushing for more significant political reforms. The attempted coup of 1982 was a significant event that aimed to overthrow President Moi's government. The coup was planned by a group of military officers including Hezekiah Ochuka and Pancras Oteyo, who were among the main conspirators. The conspirators were motivated by regional grievances including perceived ethnic favoritism by President Moi's government, authoritarian rule, and alleged human rights abuses. They believed that the coup was the only way to bring about political change. The coup plotters worked in secret, carefully planning the details to avoid detection by government intelligence agencies.
Kujulikana hali yao, lakini wananyuki tulijua kwamba walikuwa wameshakamata mateka maofisa ambaye ndio wanarusha ndege kama marubani, walikuwa wameshakamata na kuweka mateka. Pia wale wa Isili walikuwa wameshaweka mateka. Wale wa Kisumu walikuwa na Meja Mutai, na Meja Mutai alikataa.
The coup was timed to coincide with an AU summit when President Moi would be away, but President Moi boycotted the summit and was in the country during the coup attempt. On 1st August 1982, Kenya found itself at the crossroads of history as Kenya political tensions reached a boiling point. The coup plotters moved to seize key locations, including the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation and the main military barracks in Nairobi. The conspirators took control of the radio station and made a broadcast announcing that they had successfully overthrown the government. Major General Ochuka declared himself the head of the coup government. Fierce fighting erupted in Nairobi and other parts of the country as loyalist forces battled the coup plotters.
We didn't want to have vehicles that would look, conspicuous, because we didn't know who is who. So I took it was a 3 or 4 Bujo. So I went to the soldiers and I said, if anybody stops us, just clear him. And we went and found him standing in his sitting room.
6 hours after the soldiers had taken control, Brigadier Muhammad Mohammed overpowered the rebels, taking the broadcasting house. An announcement immediately followed stating that Moi's regime was still in power and terming the soldiers as drunk youths without plans to overthrow the government.
Nikiwa amiri jeshi la majeshi yetu ya Kenya, nataka niseme kwamba yale yaliyotokea leo asubuhi kwa muda mfupi imeletea wananchi wasiwasi mwingi.
Over 200 lives were lost, property destroyed, and thousands were detained, most of them military men. Oteyo said that the coup failed because most of the soldiers did not execute their parts of the plan, as they were drinking and looting instead of going to arrest the president and his ministers. The coup leader, Ochuka, had gone to fetch a radio presenter, Lennon Mambo Botela.
I was really scared. I was scared stiff. Is this the Kiswahili service studio? I said, yes. Are you sure? I said, yes. I've worked here. I know it is. So they told me that they are going to read some statement and that they wanted me to read.
The Plotters War organization left the rebels unprepared for counterattack. They failed to capture or kill any of the political leaders they had targeted and did not seize the army headquarters. And the Air Force rebels also lacked support from within the army, leaving them with no armor or heavy arms to take and hold key installations. After realization that the coup had failed, Ochuka and some of his accomplices fled to Tanzania, where they had sought asylum. Following the failure of the coup, the government initiated a crackdown, arresting and detaining suspected coup plotters and their associates. The University of Nairobi was closed down due to involvement of students during the coup. On 11 November 1983, Ochuka and Oteyo were brought back, charged and convicted for treason. Corporals Walter Odiro Ojode and Bramwell Njeni Njereman were charged and convicted of treason, receiving the death penalty. Both appealed their cases and lost. Their death sentences, together with those of coup mastermind Ochuka and his counterpart Oteyo, were carried out on the night of 10th July 1985 at Kamiti Maximum Security Prison. Up to date, they are the last people to have been executed under the Kenyan law. A total of 12 people were sentenced to death and over 900 were jailed. The convicts who were hanged were buried in the Kamiti Maximum Prison. During the trials, the name of Oginga Odinga was mentioned several times as having financed the organizers, and he was put under house arrest. His son Raila Odinga, together with the university lecturers, was sent to detention after being charged for treason.
Reached a stage where we got civilians involved, and unfortunately we had already prosecuted the servicemen who had knowledge of the coup.
The Kenya Air Force was disbanded. The coup attempt was also a direct cause for the snap of 1983 general election. In response to alleged campus involvement in the failed coup, the Kenyan government accused external communist sources of secretly funding the coup attempts. After this, President Moi made his security a personal responsibility and grew a formidable network across the country. He further constructed his own inner circle that was largely constituted from the Kalenjin community, led by Nicholas Biwott and politician Mark II. It is after the coup that the detention chambers became popular, where everyone who had a different opinion about the government was detained. Spies were planted everywhere, even in the classrooms of University of Nairobi. The coup led to the curtailment of freedom of speech, expression, and movements. During Moi's era, there were several high-profile murders that till today remain unsolved.